people, no offense to our media who's here today, but very few people that we can count on in the state to not only tell the real story, but to actually also tell the whole story. Please join me in welcoming Bob Petrakis from the Free Press.
Pleasure to be here. Last song was enlightening. It reminds me of that famous axiom that the corporations have no soul to save and no body to incarcerate, and that's the problem. That's why I think we got to move beyond this and get the laws where we can hold some of these corporate officials responsible for what they do. I'll be the first to admit that my newspaper discriminates against unnatural persons. I favor flesh and blood human beings that actually drink water and breathe air, and I feel that they should be the priority. What we need to do in this state, and all of us know what's going on, I mean, they want us to endure a mobile Chernobyl. They want us to bring in radioactive wastewater for our children and our neighbors and our friends to drink. And when we catch them doing this, they lie, they cover up, they refuse to do the correct tests. That's what they're doing. Our regulators are what we call in political science captured agencies. They are working for the wrong forces, the wrong people, and we're going to make sure by any means necessary. I believe in the power of the people and also the right of the people to stop outside corporations, these vampiric entities that are coming into this state to suck the life out of it by turning us into a cesspool. I believe when their poison rolls across the border, we need to stop it. We need to engage in nonviolent civil disobedience. And if they want to call us terrorists, we will say what we really are: people that believe in the sustainability of life, people that stand up to the real terrorists who are poisoning our state, poisoning our people, buying our legislature. And they call us skilled propagandists. Why? Because we point out the actual facts. When they sit there and look at 90% of radioactive material coming out of a drilling hole and say, my, that's useful, let's put it on a dump next to a river, and maybe the radioactivity won't go into the water. It is. It's absolutely irrational. And you know why they're doing it? It's already been mentioned here. They're doing it because they lost the battle. That now it costs the same or less for air, for solar. Bloomberg Financials and others have said that the war is over. We won the clean energy forces. So now they've got to go to their perfect corporate capitalist product, something that you suck out of the earth that's filthy and dirty, and you charge more for it as it diminishes as a fossil fuel. We're here to put the stake in the heart of these unnatural corporate entities that are stalking and destroying our state. This is just the beginning. They have lost. Let's bury them. Thank you.
I'm going to interrupt our regularly scheduled broadcast to have everyone thank the oil and gas lobby back here. Alan went over and just had a brief word with him, so I'm just going to interrupt, and Alan wants to say a couple words.
I was just back there listening to Tom Stewart do his media interview. And when they asked him what he thought of what was going on up here, he said, "I believe in free speech." I want to tell you a story about Tom Stewart to show you how much he believes in free speech. Up until a few years ago, I was a teacher at our local community college and a regular contributor to our community newspaper in terms of citizen editorials. And after 5 years of teaching at that college and getting sterling reviews from both my superiors and from the students, I wrote an editorial against fracking in my county and very quickly found myself not fired, but not assigned. So I went to the president of the university and I said, "What's going on?" She's a good person. And she said, "Alan, I can't tell you what you want to hear because you would have a lawsuit. But what I can tell you is that Tom Stewart has an appointment with me at 2 o'clock to talk to me about you." That Tom Stewart. That's how much Ohio Oil and Gas, that's how much corporate America, and that's how much Tom Stewart believes in free speech. It's another lie. So folks, this is not just about oil and gas, this is not just about fracking. This is about your rights in America. If you speak out, you lose your job. Now I will go to see my new boss. I'm not telling Tom where I work now. But I will go to see my new boss tomorrow morning and ask him if he's heard from Tom.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, so our next speaker, when faced with numerous injection wells in Athens County and more being permitted, threatening their food and water security, and when faced with a regulatory agency that ignored the concerns of that community and of that community's elected officials, our next speaker, along with 7 other fine, upstanding members of the Athens County community, put himself in the way of business as usual. Please give a warm welcome to Kip Rondi from Green Edge Gardens.
Wow, I'm batting clean up here, and if I can get a bun out there, I'll be happy. What a tremendous rally. Louder, all right, I can talk loud, believe me, I can talk loud. I want to mention one little thing about our farm. We grow year-round, feeding over 250 families here in Columbus and Athens without heat. Things can change. Tony Logan was at our farm today from the USDA in his office here in Columbus looking at that change and has been there many times. It doesn't have to be this way. Okay, let's talk about bump and bust cycles. I came out of West Virginia. I'm proud of that. But we never had a boom down there. All we had was a bump. So I don't know what a boom looks like, so I call it a bump cycle. It was created by the extractive industries in Appalachia. And the current challenges presented by fracking injection wells are not new. When our timber was taken from our slopes, and the topsoil walked down the hill, and when our coal was taken from our creeks, and they ran orange, and when our oil and gas was taken, and the wealth left our region in a pipeline, did that build local economy? Did that build good schools? We can forgive the ignorance of our parents and grandparents. However, falling for the same trick 50 years later is unforgivable. We, the people of the state of Ohio, today are educated. We know, we have seen the damage from extractive industries. We know the risks they are taking with our water. We are cognizant of the vast wealth leaving our region. You know, we got the Booby Prize, we got the Appalachian Regional Commission. And this extraction will not be forced upon us again. What we have is failure. Failure of government to protect, failure of bureaucracy to enforce, and failure of the public and private institutions to lead. We have been sold out for the 30 pieces of silver. Sold by our elected officials, our university, and yes, I have to say, our churches. My church. I'm not proud of that. And they will sell, and they will continue to sell until we hold them accountable. The ODNR, which has been mentioned a couple times today, I don't know why, is a real good example of how lost we are. The ODNR actually spent your and my money, your and my time, drawing up a program on how they might sell to us the leasing of our parkland for fracking. The very agency that is supposed to be a guardian and protectorate of the land. Now folks, how would that play in family court? Shoot! A word to all institutions, both public and private. That oil, that gas, that coal ain't going nowhere. We need change. Change is big enough and smart enough that we don't need that oil and gas and coal. We demand that our government encourage the development of solar, wind, and geothermal, not cuts in those programs. You know, the trucking industry didn't build the interstates. Did you know that? I didn't know that. AEP didn't build the grid. Did you know that? I didn't know that. The Chessie system didn't build the railroads. We built them. We the people. We paid taxes and we built them for the greater good of our community. Do not allow the energy industry or others, green or otherwise, and this is really important. I really want you to pay attention to this, because I saw things go so far wrong in the 60s and 70s because we allowed this to happen. So we're going to start with that again. Do not allow the energy industry or other greens or otherwise make this a divisive issue. It's way too important. This is not about our sisters and brothers working in the coal, oil, and gas fields. This is not about how green I am or how not green you are. This is about a real leadership for the good of all of humanity. Do not let your attention be diverted from the real issue. Our planet, as we know it, is in real danger. Danger of changing drastically because of the effects of global warming that we have brought about. We all must begin in earnest in building a truly sustainable economy, building a green, sustainable energy grid in Appalachia, in Ohio, and thereby saving our air, our earth, our planet. We are united by the very earth we stand on. Now I beg, no, we the people beg for you to go in there and tell those elected officials with every ounce of tact and cunning you possess that this train of change is leaving the station and they can get on or they can get off.
Thank you, Kip. Let's see Kip off with this little chant here. ODNR, we know how corrupt you are. You're guilty. You're guilty. Yeah, yeah, you're guilty. ODNR, we know how corrupt you are. You're guilty. You're guilty. Yeah, yeah, you're guilty.